Okay, YouTube, in our last video we looked at the slope-intercept form of a line. What we're going to be focusing on in this video is specifically the slope portion of our line here. And so for any linear equation, this is going to be a straight line in the xy coordinate plane. We're going to see that the line always rises a certain amount compared to a certain amount of run. And it's just going to keep going up at the same rate all the time. And so the slope is going to be the same between any 2 points on this line. So to define slope, let's go ahead and start with this. We just say that the concept of slope is really just a comparison. Let's see if I can draw on this here. It is a comparison of how much our graph rises compared to how much that it runs here. And that's what I'm going to list over here. We're going to refer to this as our rise and this is our run. But this is often expressed as a ratio. And we look at rise as our change in y and run is our change in x. And so we'd see that if slope truly is rise over run, then maybe perhaps what we want to do a lot of the time is find the exact slope of a line. And so as long as we have 2 points on that line, and you can see that 2 points are listed here, x1, y1, and x2, y2, we could actually find their rise and their run by finding the change in the y values. And you can certainly see that over here. We see that if we were to take y2 minus y1, we would get this leftover portion right here, which, if you remember your distance formula, kind of represents the length of the right side of this right triangle. And then the run would be the change in the x values, or x2 minus x1. That change in these two x values would be the length here. And so this rise to run ratio, we often express it instead as, instead of rise over run, we express it as y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, or change in y over change in x. And so with this definition of slope, we are able to find basically the rate of change of any linear equation so long as the x values are different. Okay. So when using this formula, one thing to keep in mind is this. You'll notice it says y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. You're going to see that the order of subtraction really is kind of an important thing. So they note here it says given 2 points on a line, you're free to label either one of them as x1, y1 and the other as x2, y2. So that is to say, if we were to go back up here and call this one x2, y2 and this one x1, y1, essentially what this is saying is as long as you do your subtraction in the proper order, you're going to get the correct ratio that you're looking for. So in terms of correct, we can see the two ways of doing this here is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, or y1 minus y2 over x1 minus x2. The wrong way of doing this would be to say maybe y2 minus y1 on top, but then to do x1 minus x2 on bottom. So slope, this is pretty easy to kind of interpret and find here. Let's go ahead and take a look at just a few examples here. What I want to do is just find the slope of the line passing through these pairs of points here. And so for our first one here, I'm kind of a visual guy. I want to at least visualize this, but we have negative 2, 0. Negative 2, 0 is right here, negative 2, 0, and then we have 3, 1. So we'll go right 3 and up 1, and we'll label this here. So 3, 1. So if there is a line passing through these 2 points right here, then really what we want to do is we want to find this ratio of rise to run. So illustrating it, here's what you would see right here. And it seems to me that our change in y values, just by visually looking at this, we have 0 to 1. It went up by 1 unit. And also, in terms of change in x values, we have negative 2 over 3. That's a total distance of 5. So if you were to ask me visually what is the slope of this line, I would say it rises 1 to every time it runs 5. That's what it's going to do indefinitely. Now, of course, our intent here is to use the slope formula. And so that's what we're going to do, but I want you to see that you can verify this visually as well. So really what you're going to get a lot of the time is just some filling in the blanks. And we have 2 points here. Certainly, we could call this x1, y1. We'll call this x2, y2, but let's start with our change in y values on top. So we have y2 minus y1, or 1 minus a 0 here. And then x2 minus x1, we would have 3 minus a negative 2, which interestingly enough causes this to be 1 over positive 5. So this slope here can be given thusly, or you can actually also use a calculator to find this slope right here and say that it's 0.20 as a rate of change. We tend to leave it as a fraction, however, here. So you can definitely see that this was a positive slope, but you can also definitely see that this rises. Okay, so it supports that positive slopes from left to right rise. Now, with respect to letter B here, let's take a look at it. We have negative 1, 2. Okay, we'll go ahead and sketch that in, and then 2, 2. So looking at this already, I mean, we don't really need to make a big hypothesis here. It looks to me like we have a horizontal line. And so in terms of finding the slope of this, I could already infer that the slope must be 0, because it neither rises nor runs. But again, if I wanted to find this visually, we could say it rises 0 and runs, looks like from negative 1 here, negative 1, 2, let's label these 2, 2. It runs negative 1 to 2, that runs 3. We still get 0 for the slope. And also with our slope formula, we could say that M is the change in y over the change in x. So our change in y values, 2 minus 2, looks like it doesn't change at all. And then our change in x values here, we get a 2 minus a negative 1, which actually gives us a 3, and still earns us a slope of 0. So this is a horizontal line. So for C and D here, let's take a look at these here. I'm going to go at C with our 2 points here. First, just algebraically or numerically, and then we'll look at it graphically. So slope here, just to show you, we could throw this together pretty quickly here. We have change in y over change in x. Our y values, 4 minus a negative 1, and then we have 0 minus 1. This ends up giving us a ratio as 4 plus a positive 1 on top is 5, and then down here we get a negative 1. So really we could just say negative 5 over 1. And I wanted you to see something here. When we express a slope, we often express the negative, if it is a negative slope, as the top number here. So in other words, we always kind of interpret the run as going from left to right, or a positive run here. So to take a look at what this might look like here, 0, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4 up in the air here, and then we had 1, negative 1 here, we could see that this line had a negative slope and so is definitely falling from left to right. And it is a little bit more steeply falling than this one over here. So this one, 1/5, was going uphill, but it was going uphill not as fast as letter C was going downhill. So definitely did a lot more falling than we did running on this one, whereas the opposite over here, we did a lot more running than we did rising or falling. So for letter D here, again, I'm going to go at this with just the points first. So let's get our coordinate pairs in here, our ordered pairs. We have 3, 4, and we have 3, 1. So one thing you might have already inferred is that our x values are the same here. And so let's talk about what this would imply if we have the same x values here. If we did change in y, 4 minus 1 over change in x, 3 minus 3, what you observe is that we get 3 over 0, which we're going to make a big note here. Division by 0 is undefined. So in other words, we have no slope, and what that would mean is that this is a vertical line. So why must this be a vertical line? Well, when you look at your points here, 3, 1, 1, 2, 3, 1, and 3, 4, you could see that these are certainly stacked together here, 3, 1, and 3, 4. So when you have the same x values, looks like we have a graph that in terms of rising, it looks like it rose 3 from here to here, but it ran 0. And so therefore it has no slope. It is a vertical line. Cheers.